Hey guys, Dustin Magic here, and I'm in the middle of an allergy apocalypse day, but I'm still making videos. Guarantee if I take diphenylhydramine, I'm gonna stop making videos though. That stuff is horse tranquilizers, which is the perfect segue because you should never take horse tranquilizers before going to the pre-release. That's tip number one. Hey, speaking of sleep, plan your sleep schedule. That's really the most important because if you're, 36 hours awake and you try to go to another event because you just didn't think or you thought you could fall asleep in the middle and you couldn't, a little bit of a problem there. You're going to have a bad attitude. You're going to play like crap. You're going to forget stuff. You're going to misread cards. People are going to think you're cheating because you misread the cards, and it's just going to be bad. I know you all don't want to miss, any of the events, and you really want to go to the two-headed giant on Saturday morning, but you also want to go to the one Friday night and you got to sleep at some point. So that's a huge general tip. Now, I've made all kinds of tip videos about, just generic stuff with the pre-release before. You should definitely check for those. Just go to my channel, hit the little search magnifying glass, and just type pre-release. None of them were really set specific, so that's what I'm trying to do this time around. Another video coming tonight, hopefully. But there's one important tip in general that I have to give other than sleeping properly and not taking horse tranquilizers. There are a lot of people who show up to pre-releases. Just think about it. What's the alternative to pre-release? Well, at most local gaming stores, it's standard. At some, they play modern only for F&M. I don't even understand that. It's the fastest way to put your store out of business because modern players, in general, don't buy anything. Or just say they don't buy anything Magic related. But some people don't want to play standard because you have to build a new deck every 6 months. And of course, the stupid net deckers tell them, oh, well, if you want to build a competitive deck and have any chance at hell, you got to spend $200 to $300, which is obviously not true. You can throw together like a 5 or 10% weaker deck for $20 in any set, except for Tarkir. That block was a catastrophe. I just stopped playing standard after Dragons came out. You could not compete with 3-color, and 3-color meant fetch lands. The end. And a lot of people, from what I've heard, left the game during Tarkir. So they're thinking, hey, a pre-release, a new set, the art looks cool, the mechanics look cool. I'm going to, not necessarily get back into Magic, but I'm going to go to the pre-release just because it's fun. It's like a midnight thing, which is kind of cool to do once in a while. I think those people, they know how to play Magic. It's not that hard to, get back into it because really the rules haven't changed except for, mulliganing. I mean, that's about it. So they like a level playing field, because you go, everybody pays the same. They have approximately the same card pool, although this is why, people in draft and people in sealed events, like at the, more competitive level, like the pro level, they've been complaining about mythics and rares forever, because if you pull a really good mythic or rare that's just insanely powerful, you have a huge advantage over everybody else. Just before you even start playing, no skill involved, 100% luck. So that's the mega downside, but do you really think people would pay, $30 for a pre-release kit if it didn't have mythics or rares in it? Probably not. So discounting that because there's no solution, they do like to show up just because it's okay, build a deck, I know how to do that, I've been playing on and off for 10, 20 years, whatever, and they show up and do it. So wouldn't it be nice if you got them back into standard so that there's more people and more deck variety, just more people is better to a certain extent at Friday Night Magic. So if you convince them to come play, that would benefit you because the prize pool would go up, the hobby store would make more money. Like I said, higher deck variety instead of just playing the same couple people with the same couple decks. Unless, of course, you got someone like me that shows up with a different deck every 2 weeks. And since they play Magic, they're probably a pretty cool person. I mean, that's kind of a given right there. I mean, if you just picked a random person out of the public, just randomly, totally random, jury duty selection, probably going to get some douchebags. There's some weird people out there. You ever go to a place where everybody has to go, like the DMV? There's some weird people there. It's a little different than going to Macy's, where you're only in Macy's if you've got a certain amount of money and don't, hear voices inside your head. I'll tell you what, the grocery store I go to, because, I'm poor, there's you might get stabbed, okay? You got about a 50-50 getting stabbed on your way to the vegetable department, but, good prices. But in the MTG community, if you're willing to play MTG, you are automatically, a cooler, better, more awesome person. I mean, I think we can all agree on that. It's a generalization. I think you all know that I know more than a couple douchebags, but it would be cool if random MTG person number 7 started coming to Friday Night Magic. So, how do you do this? Simple. tell them that if they don't show up to the next Friday Night Magic and start playing Kaladesh and Standard again, you'll kidnap their entire family. But if that doesn't work, I would recommend just being super nice and super cool because, you know, for $5 and usually you get a free pack, that's how most local gaming stores do it, they have something to do for a couple hours on Friday and hang out with cool people with the same interests. So the only reason they wouldn't show up is because they really honestly don't have enough money for a deck, or if the people are dicks and they don't want to bother spending time around them. In other words, my old local gaming store. I know of at least 12 people that either got into the game or that I got into the game. They showed up to that store, started playing, said, I cannot stand this person, this person, this person, and this person. I don't even want to play against them. This isn't fun. They're ruining it. They're a dick. And I'm out. Then they stopped showing up. Oh my god, I wish I could, like, I should have video recorded it and then sent it to Wizards. They would have shut that place down. And they would have banned about 20 people. So the simple method to getting people to show up to F&M that showed up to the pre-release that haven't played in a while is to not be those people. Don't be like that. If somebody is being like that, first of all, they probably didn't listen to the first part of this video and they're going on 48 hours of no sleep, so they're just automatically a dick. Now, I'm usually quite polite in person. I know you're all shocked. I give people a lot of leeway. I don't fly off the handle for almost anything, really. But if I mix, like, caffeinated energy drinks with no sleep, I'm ready to fight everybody. Absolutely no joke whatsoever. A squirrel was pissing me off on the way in from, like, the last Sunday event, I think for the pre-release last time, and I thought about shooting it. I don't have any subsonic rounds or a silencer, though. Well, I mean, I own subsonic rounds, but it was the wrong caliber for the weapon I had on me. Not today, squirrel, but eventually. I'm coming for those nuts, squirrel. So anyway, if you find somebody who's being a dick, you know, tell them, hey, stop being a dick. We've got new people here. We're trying to make a good impression. They'll probably be like, oh yeah, okay, you're right. Okay, that makes sense. I'll go out of my way to try and be nice. Or they'll be like, screw you, I'll do whatever I want. And then you tell the staff and try and get them kicked out. Simple as that. Gotta get rid of the problems. If you don't get rid of the problems, you get my old local gaming store because it'll only get worse and worse and worse. So be super nice to those people. And what I usually do is I stuff my bag instead of full of trades because honestly I don't like trading cards in the middle of a pre-release because one, people think you're cheating, and two, it's, you know, you should be worried about like your deck and playing and concentrating and staying awake and talking to the new people and all that. Like, it's just not a good use of your time. You can trade any other time, or you could trade even when it, like, the event is over if your store is still open. That's a lot smarter. I really think they should release sets on Thursday so people can build their deck by Friday. That's why everybody wants to trade at the pre-release because, you know, you aren't going to show up to Friday Night Magic on the day of release and, like, try to build a deck on the fly. That's a mistake, but still, I tend to not trade at the pre-release. What I do bring in my bag is about 10 sealed land packs, a whole bunch of spare dice, a whole bunch of spare old deck boxes, you know, basically everything. Even, you know, big fat packs full of bulk commons and uncommons, unsorted from, you know, my opening. And then if somebody says, oh, I want to get back into standard, but I don't know, I'm like, here, have a die, a deck box, maybe even some sleeves, have, you know, some bulk commons, uncommons, a box to carry them in, and, you know, a bunch of lands. Like, you're all set now. And usually people love that, especially like younger kids because they don't have the budget. But even, you know, it could be like a 40-year-old and they'll be like, oh, okay, you know, because maybe they sold off their collection or it's in storage or they don't know where it is, or, you know, their lands are in a terrible condition or they're unsorted. Now you just gave them the whole Let's Play Standard kit. Now, obviously, your local gaming store should be doing this to an extent just to kind of draw people in. And I know even the worst ones I've been to that give out free lands, my last local gaming store didn't, though. Nope, no free lands for you. Got to pay for everything. Real friendly. The one before that, though, they were like, yeah, just, you know, take 21 islands. Just go build some. No problem. You're a new player. That's cool. The market value online, including shipping, is 5 cents a land. I mean, come on. It's a freaking dollar. I mean, come on, people. Now, I have the resources to do that. I'm not saying everybody should do it, but, you know, when I got into Magic, my God, my friend gave me, like, whole decks and stuff and, like, sleeve packs and everything. And, you know, now that I'm into it, if he needs sleeves, I give him sleeves. So it pays back in the long run. You're investing in people, like some stupid HR film that they make you watch at your job. And I don't mean slavery. That sounded really slavery-ish, investing in people. In fact, the 12 people that I got locked up in my basement, I really should let them go because I don't see the investment appreciating. I'm just waiting for them to legalize slavery so I can sell them off. From the last couple pre-releases that I've been to, I can tell you for certain that we pick up the most players then than any other time. I mean, you might have somebody at their local high school, which that's usually where a lot of the new players come from. They might, kind of get somebody into it because they switch classes, or now they're with their friend, or now they have a study hall or whatever, open period. Now they sit with somebody at lunch and they're just like, hey, here's Magic, you should play it. But I've noticed that that's pretty rare. We don't pick up new players real often, and it's usually a group from the school. So other than that, I mean, random people that aren't in school, it's pretty much the pre-release. I mean, that's where we pick up people. And I have personally went up to people that, nobody's talking to because they're like, oh, I don't know him. He's new, stranger danger. Oh my God, I'm going to stick with my friends. I mean, come on, people. Unless they look creepy as hell, which, let's be honest, some of them do. Go up and talk to them. That's what I've done. I've been like, hey, you're new. How's it going? What's up? We're a friendly group. Woo, let's all talk and stuff. Usually they're a cool person. And just because of that, I've had people, start coming to F&M. I tell them, hey, every Friday, this time, here's the structure, here's the format, here's how we do it. It's kind of casual. You should show up. And then they do. It works. All you've got to do is talk to them. And I know you're like, oh my God, talk to people? Like go up to strangers and say words? I don't know about that, but come on, we're all MTG people. We're a geek community. It's just like I said in the other video, Pokemon Go players. If you're playing Pokemon Go and they're playing Pokemon Go, you're automatically both kind of cool and kind of interested in the same stuff. It's so much better than meeting a random person, just totally random. So give them the benefit of the doubt. Go talk to the new players, tell them to come to F&M, recruit them, and we'll have more players, have bigger prizes, and unfortunately make Wizards more money, which I could care less about at this point because they're being dicks lately. That's an unfortunate side effect, but whatever, keeps the game from failing. Just kidding. Nothing you can do could counteract what they're doing to make the game fail. But in the meantime, try to recruit more people to F&M. That is your goal. That is your number one goal, even above winning the pre-release. So hopefully you guys have fun and watch for more tip videos in the future right before the Kaladesh pre-release. In fact, might want to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next video.